Ma, how would you answer? She wanted to know, what did you do all day?
Up there?
Yeah, what did you do all day?
Know.
She wants to know.
What do you?
Yeah, I've got some ideas. So after I hear you, I'll tell you if you're telling the truth or not. You were cooking for us, you were doing laundry.
Going around the house.
It must have been spotless. I mean,
if it's a shooting, we're hiding down there.
Hiding during shooting.
Hiding during shooting. And did you cook? Did you make
One
anything
time
you did,
to the house.
Huh?
During the day something.
Yeah, there was a time we were about 6 in a family. One time we were 4, 5. So both ladies were quite occupied by
Occupied by taking care of everyone.
But then she would go out to find some provisions in the good days.
So did you walk on the good days? Did you walk?
What?
Did you walk
yes,
on foot?
Yes, I do.
Were you fearful?
And what would you find?
Oh my.
Oh dear.
I was meaning carrots and tomatoes.
That time, my. But now, when we walk like this, if you were now, right now, I can go in the night. Tonight I can go around. That time.
In the evening, did you all sit around and share your days or talk about your day?
You mean these people, these men?
The 5 of you, yeah.
Oh, they go.
They just went all the time?
It is the time.
They used to go.
Yeah. Did you spend time in the evening talking and
Telling
each other what you did during the day and working out a plan for the next?
We would eat often late because I would get back to the house kind of late.
Around there.
And that's true. And then in the last few weeks, I would go out around our neighborhood and helping people medically, changing bandages and stuff around our neighborhood. But in the evening, yeah, after we would eat, we would sit and visit. But and we would have worship together. We were one evening, I was reading to them part of the story, and pastor would then translate to Anita and Janvier, because I was reading out of English, and he would translate the story of this lady from China, the Inn of the Sixth Happiness. Do you know that story? Or Inn of the Seventh Happiness? It's a classic movie. Ingrid Bergman and someone else played it in a movie, but it was a wonderful book about this British missionary lady who went against incredible odds to China. And you haven't heard that? It's a film you have to watch. But she went against incredible odds to China, and I mean, she was like, the people didn't want her. They would throw cow dung on her in the city street. And she went to help an old, very seasoned missionary. One day she was out at the market and she saw a beheading. And she came running back, crying and hysterical.
What's it called?
Inn of the Sixth Happiness or Inn of the Seventh Happiness.
Seventh.
Depends if it's a book or a movie, because they changed the name for the one or the other. And in the end, she took orphans through the mountains, about 200 orphans, and got them to safety. So I was reading part of that story to these guys in the middle of the genocide, and all of a sudden we all heard, we were in the back corner, a little section of the house that had no windows. There were doors that came into it, but no windows, because windows, you're away from the bullets and stuff. And we heard this sound. I don't know if you remember this night, Mom. We heard a sound and we thought somebody had shot in the house. First, it was breaking glass, and we thought that they had thrown a grenade in the house. And so we were just waiting there, quiet, for this, and no explosion came. And then after waiting a while, I said, okay, just wait a minute. I'm going to go crawl around the living room and see if I can find the broken window or what's happening. And I crawled on my hands and knees around, out through the dining room, down the steps, into the living room, around. Couldn't find anything broken. Crawled down the hall, crawled in the bedroom, near the windows, came back, and couldn't find any broken glass anywhere.
Interesting.
And the next morning, I found a bullet on my bedspread, and it had burnt a little hole around the bullet because it was that hot. And what we figured was that bullet had hit the asbestos roof. And in hitting the asbestos roof, the crack of that bullet hitting the asbestos roof was the closest thing we could think of, just something breaking glass there.
Yeah.
But I would sit quietly by the window like this when I would be sitting down on the floor by the open window wondering, is there somebody outside? Are they attacking our house? Are they going to throw a grenade in the window and stuff?
Sure.
So that would be, you know, that was just one of our worships that I remember being interrupted by things like that. But yeah, we always, at least once a day, we got together and we read either the Bible or something inspirational like the Bible as a group, and we had prayer.
And Phoebe, you were very brave, right?
Mm-hmm.
You went to the gate a lot to
Oh,
speak to
asking.
people.
Because someone knocking, I go there.
Oh,
Yeah.
and you would go there.
Mm.
Yep.
You see how she welcomed us into her house, and
Yes.
she has this very warm smile, and even though inside she might be very frightened, outside
But now,
outside she would talk to them and say, "What do you young men want?" You know, she would just talk to them like their aunt. Is that the best way to illustrate it?
you know, one time when they come to ask this man, then we took him to the gate. I saw Brother Wilkens have one shoe.
One shoe.
Yeah, we have this one.
I had only put on one shoe when I came down to the gate. Is that what she remembers?
When we were taking him. Then when I look up, I say, I can't laugh.
Now we get the real story.
Isn't
That's what I
that
like.
funny? Those little simple things you remember
Yeah.
in a very dangerous time.
This man is sure.
So you were having trouble keeping a straight face because I was just wearing one shoe.
Yeah. Yeah, it's finished now.
So sometimes when there are very bad things happening, people question their faith. They feel as though God isn't there for them. How did you keep your faith in such a hard time?
Well, I don't. Did you show them the house in which you were?
We've only seen outside. We didn't open the gate. They're putting a whole new. Thank you, Tony.
Yeah.
They're putting a whole new roof on it. A big tall roof. So they've seen pictures of the
change it?
house.
They
Yeah,
change
they're
it.
changing the house.
When I pass, I don't know
Big,
the place.
tall
I didn't
roof.
know.
Yeah,
Where's the place?
like this roof of your neighbor right here. They're putting that kind of roof on
Yeah,
it. But
that's-
I
anyway,
took a picture.
Up one.
So
Okay.
below that area, we had the church. And
Down.
and almost every Sabbath we attended the meeting.
during the genocide,
Yeah, him Kachiru, that side down.
you went down to that church.
Yeah, him.
Yes.
I completely forgot that.
Yeah.
And that helped you?
Yes. So instead of the people compromising, we were more drawn to faith than before.
So it strengthened your faith.
Yes.
Strengthened your faith.
Now, Carl, you left pretty much right after it had ended, yes?
About a week after.
So what was life like for you after Carl had left?
I stayed in his house.
You stayed in his house.
Yeah. And you went back and started working at the office?
Yes.
Yeah.
At that time it was calm in the city, but in the up country there was still troubles.
I was a long experience.
Did the church step in right away and begin setting up programs to help people who had survived and getting their lives back together? The Adventist Church?
Well, the regular church activity started immediately. But as far as helping, the church members themselves could not help because each person was
Everybody needs
each person suffered
right,
loss
right,
of some kind,
right.
and many of them left their homes.
Like as we stay.
Even those who were supposed to be in power, they were also scattered around, and there was not much to help each other in that way. Each one would look after himself. So, but the regular activities began immediately.
Right away.
What about in the years after? What role would you say the church played in trying to bring healing?
I don't know, because the healing came after.
No, sorry.
You see, it continued here and there. So the country was not settled.
Yeah.
When I even left in '96.
So those 2 years, well, year and a half. You left early '96.
April.
To where?
But I left in September, and I didn't think you left before me.
I did.
Yeah, Abel then had become. Was Abel the treasurer after you?
No, Samuel.
Samuel.
Okay, Samuel. Okay, that's right. I'd forgotten that. So in that year, so 2 years, a year and a half after the genocide, you can't really say that there was a special program to bring healing. It was just trying to come back to normal,
Yes, that's right.
to have church like normal, to have. And what about, Pastor? What about there were many of the church members, many of the church leaders who were gone. Many of the church leaders were killed. Many of the church leaders fled. What about the ordinary members stepping up to take leadership? Do you remember examples?
The lay people.
Yeah.
The lay people.
There's no pastor here. All of them are Congo. Yeah.
And it's like the people kind of knew from the time of the genocide who of the lay members they could trust and who they didn't trust.
I don't think it was. They just worked on the spur of the moment of those who were present. Then they chose their leaders. And some of the local church leaders were still there.
During the Gacaca process, did the church have any kind of role or counsel for its members or anything, or did they just pretty much leave that to the government?
They left it to the government.
Were you involved in the Gacaca process at all?
No. Gacaca started after I left the country.
Oh.
He went to work for the regional office of the church in Ivory Coast. And then from Ivory Coast, they moved to another regional office in Nairobi, Kenya. And it was there that you retired. What year did you retire?
205.
205.
Pastor Seraya, you're a very wise man. Did you write about what you had witnessed? Did you preach to people about that, or was that not your role in the church at all? I know you were the treasurer.
No. I didn't write. I didn't even preach about it, because when a national preaches and he brings that up, he must be very careful that he doesn't
offend the other side.
Yeah, doesn't he show
Right.
which side?
Favorite.
Yeah.
Yes, you see.
Right.
Yes. So, in fact, I don't even talk about it much. When I answer some questions, but I don't try
You don't
to
discuss it.
because
Mm.
it is sensitive issue.
So before you left, was it difficult to talk with neighbors who might have done horrible things during the like? Did you have any experiences like that where? No.
While there wasn't specific organized programs, maybe for reconciliation, what was the church doing some work in the prisons?
Yeah, they did a letter. But in, I don't know if before '96 there was that kind of privilege, because before the government was settled itself, you wouldn't get a permission to go into
The prisons. They were terribly overcrowded, and yeah, letting anybody in there would be very difficult. Very difficult to get in. A year ago, I gave Tabi a copy of the book I'm Not Leaving, and then all of a sudden I thought, because her boys were right in the room, and your oldest son now is 16?
Robert.
Umwana wawe
Say?
imyaka 15.
16, yeah.
Yes.
So last year he was 15, and you can imagine, as I gave this book to her, you can imagine the curiosity of a 15-year-old son.
Of course.
And as he had the book, all of a sudden I thought, I should have asked her permission. Maybe I should have given it to her in secret. And of course she was very gracious, and she said, no, it's not a problem. Moi, je pense peut-être que ce n'est pas bien de donner le livre parce que ça doit être toi et Albert qui doit décider quand on va parler à propos de le génocide. Mais quand j'arrive l'année passée avec le livre, c'est comme j'ai mis le génocide, voilà, dans la maison. Et est-ce que Robert, est-ce qu'il a lire le she'll help me with my French every once in a while.
The French now is poor.
Le livre, est-ce qu'il a lire ça?
Oui, il a lu. Pas beaucoup, mais il a commencé pour lui. Il m'a demandé quelque chose. J'ai lui expliqué. Simplement, ce n'est pas bon. Le laisser.
So pas beaucoup de questions or beaucoup de temps.
Oui.
So she said that you know, he started to read the book, and then he started to ask her many questions, because that was my question: what would it be like with the kids? And then she gave him some answers, and he said, that was really terrible, and he just chose to leave it. Donc jusqu'à aujourd'hui, il n'avait pas demandé beaucoup de questions à propos de ça.
Ce n'est pas beaucoup parce que dans le classe, on a étudié ça, je ne sais pas.
Not so many, because she said in class they've been studying genocide.
Carl had said he wasn't sure whether she should leave the book or not because he didn't know what would be appropriate to
Yeah, I
be
didn't.
communicated by
Afterwards,
the
I was like,
family.
I just dumped genocide in the house here,
Yeah.
and I didn't ask the parents.
Well, has he read the book?
A bit.
A little bit.
A bit. But no.
Not totally.
Well, of course, the language also is a barrier.
Yes,
Yeah.
of course, of course.
They cannot understand them very well.
It's hard.
The English. Well, I don't know what other questions. I'm sure you'll think of more questions after we leave. After we leave. But Tabi, où se trouve ton frère maintenant? Est-ce qu'il est ici en ville ou à Kibuye? Est-ce qu'il a retourné dans la même place de la famille? dans le
Chez
week-end?
moi, dans mon famille,
Yeah.
oui, il a passé il a pas dans ma famille.
Le quartier, le champ, toute la place.
Oui.
Mais seulement pendant le week-end? Ou est-ce qu'il habite là maintenant?
Non, maintenant, il habite à Rubendera.
Mhm.
C'est le de chez moi.
You see, we went. Yes, I was asking about her younger brother who came back, and tragically he stepped on a landmine and lost the lower half of his leg. But he's married and he has 2 children, and asked him if he was going back and living in the property. Hier, nous avons fait la visite avec un ami jusqu'à côté de la rivière Nyabarongo River.
Nyabalongo.
Nyaba
Nyava.
Nyava
Longo.
Nyava Longo.
Yes, right.
That's closer, thank you. And et donc les maisons sont détruites, tous sont détruits. Et pour quelques années, il pensait non, on ne peut pas retourner là. Mais finalement, il a décidé bon pour l'avenir, même pour mes enfants, si Dieu nous donnait les enfants, on doit recommencer. Et donc jusqu'à aujourd'hui, il n'habite pas là, il toujours habite ici à Kigali. Mais il fait la visite, il a le projet de cochon, le projet de vache, le projet de jardin, les choses comme ça. Est-ce que ton frère, il est en train de faire quelques projets dans la...
Non.
Jusqu'à maintenant. Et est-ce qu'il y a quelqu'un d'autre famille qui habite là, maintenant?
Ah bon, peut-être 2 familles.
Okay. So I was just asking if her brother had gone back to start doing fields or things like you saw yesterday, and she says not really. And then I said, well, are there other people living on the land? And she said not many, maybe there's 2 families. Yeah.
So, where were your children in 1994?
America.
They were all in America. How did they all go to America?
Yeah, some went to America for study. When they got married there. Others married here. The husband went to America for further education.
So much of the time it's studies. That's what opens
Yeah.
the door. People go for studies. And afterwards, your children didn't want you to retire in Rwanda. They wanted you
They
to
want
retire
to.
in America.
Yes. They want
In,
to.
up to 2000.
Up to 2000.
Yeah.
When did you move back to Kigali
From where?
from Nairobi?
Nah.
Uh,
2-4.
no, 2006.
206.
Yeah.
When did they go to Nairobi?
Well, in 96 they went to Ivory Coast to work in the church regional office there. And then in what year did you go to Nairobi?
They moved.
That was
2000?
yeah, 2003.
203.
Yeah.
And then 206 you came back. So 96 to 203, you were 7 years in Ivory Coast. And fortunately, Ivory Coast is not very hot, so it was really nice,
It's
huh?
very hot.
It was hot there.
I knew which button to push. She roasted in the Ivory Coast. She roasted. Rwanda's
When
got
I
such
reached
Perfect
there,
weather.
yeah, it's so perfect here in Rwanda.
everything here is burnt.
It's burned.
Then I
Huh?
went to the doctor. The doctor asked him, I said, well, from where? I am sick now, you are asking where I'm from. Hey. My.
So,
Every coast. It's
It
very
was
hot.
so hot, so hot.
How many languages do you speak then? You
Right.
lived everywhere.
So when the doctor asked her where is she from,
Yeah.
she said, I'm sick, and you are asking me where I
Yeah.
am. After she calmed down, she said, I come from Rwanda. She said,
Now
that is not sickness.
Yeah.
It is the
Sunburn.
climate.
What's that?
Just sunburn.
Wow.
And so after 2000 though, the children started to feel okay about, well, I was thinking they part of it, they might not want you to retire here because maybe security, but the other part just because they wanted you in America. But I guess part of my question, and I want my friends to kind of understand this, is when you go to America, Ma, to visit your children and your grandchildren,
Yes.
what do you do?
What do you do there?
Yeah, what do you do there?
Why?
If you retired in America, what would you do if you were living in America?
That's why I don't want to retire there.
Yeah, why not?
I can't stay there. It's the
Because?
house.
What?
Without moving, I don't know the place to go. I am staying to the house like this.
All day
Eating
long.
and sleep.
Eat and sleep, eat and
No.
sleep. So here in Rwanda, where do you go?
I go to see my mom there, my brother.
Your mother is where?
Yeah,
Where's your mother?
in one kitty.
Okay. So you travel up to Runkari, you get on the taxi, and you go up and see your mother up there,
Then I come back here.
and you see your brother where?
Yes.
In Runkari also?
Yes, there is it too. They will come after me. Right there.
And what about church?
Even the church, yeah.
How many times do you go to church in the week?
Here, to the bank or here?
No, to this church.
Here?
Yeah.
Yeah. 3 days a week we go to the church.
You go on Sabbath,
The South and Sunday,
And
Wednesday,
Sunday,
and the Friday.
and Wednesday, and
Yeah,
Friday.
Yeah, that's right.
And you're going there for singing and praying and...
I don't know how to sing.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. Is she telling the truth, Pastor? No, that's a dangerous question. Sorry.
Yeah,
No, I want to hear
No,
it.
no, it is not dangerous.
Mm.
But ask her to sing one of the songs. And
Then I get that to sing my voice.
Do you sing, Pastor?
I can't. I don't know how to.
Does Pastor sing?
Yeah.
when I'm in the church with others, I sing.
Yes.
With others. Sure.
Not alone.
I don't sing a solo.
No. But Mom, in church you don't sing with others?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
You sing with others.
Yes.
And so the whole thing is that you just, life, when you've grown up here and everybody says, no,
Oh, it
no,
would
you
be
should come
hard.
to America.
Yeah.
It'd be very,
How we
very
can
hard.
stay there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How?
All of the friends,
When you-
all of the
if you-
social
If
structure.
you are from Washington to our daughter,
Mhm.
when you to California to his brother, from there we go to the house. They would lift us there.
At the house.
How? Why? All of them, they don't stay with us.
Yeah.
They're working, doing what.
But actually,
Yeah, it's hard.
when we are in America, sometimes we are with the grandchildren.
Yeah. They're
And
from
she
school.
does the house call. So they are happy that we are there.
Yeah, they want to. They call, Mama, come here.
So
Yeah.
to them, no problem. But
It's a short thing.
Yeah.
You visit for a while.
Mm.
but to tell you the truth, the only reason that we were never interested in staying there is that while we are still active, it is okay.
Yeah.
But when we shall be inactive, we become a burden to them and land in a nursing home.
Mhm.
But here,
Yeah. Tell us about what happens here if you when
Yeah.
you become
Here.
become inactive here. What will happen?
we will always have some relatives
Yeah.
around us.
We have them. Yeah, but for them, they can't stay with us.
You see, for instance, I show you this
This young lady who was
Mhm.
just here,
young lady.
Yeah.
your niece.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, she just finished the schooling, but
Here,
we
Mudende.
can always find somebody.
So has she been living at the house here?
No,
No.
she
Into
hasn't.
the Mudende, there to the school.
Do they have dormitories now?
They had, he's renting the house.
I
for
rent the house for
for
them.
them.
Okay.
Yeah, because there are 3.
Yeah.
3 students.
Yeah,
Or sometimes there are 4 or 5.
yeah, they're
Mhm.
there.
Mhm.
But anyway, when we are here, we can always find somebody in the house, 1 or 2 if you want it.
Mm.
Yeah.
But America, we can come and stay to you. None.
Where do you
So
church?
it's quite a different picture, isn't it? when you think about wasting away in a nursing home,
Yeah.
or being here where you're still surrounded by plenty of family, and they need a place to stay. And have you started on a house over there yet?
No, not yet.
Still working through formalities?
Yeah, they delayed in releasing the part of the area there because of certain big projects, but sometimes they don't even tell us the truth.
Yeah,
We just wait and see.
yeah.
Right now they say probably before
September.
this year ends
Yeah.
they will allow us to do it.
To start building.
Mm. Yeah. So I still tenant in this house.
Have they visited you in Spokane?
No.
You should go in the winter.
Which,
She wants to know if you've come to our house in Spokane.
yeah, that's another thing also. We
The
are
weather.
we are not familiar with snow.
There's not snow everywhere, not in
Where-
California. Where do your children
Not
live
California.
in America?
My children,
One of them is in North America, in near San Francisco.
Near San Francisco.
Okay.
No snow there.
The,
that's a good place.
the other
Yes.
side,
If I'm there, then yes.
the other side, Grand Rapids,
Grand Rapids.
and another one
Lots
in
of snow
Maryland.
there. Maryland.
Okay.
And another one is here in Kigali.
Oh, you
Yes.
have a child. You have a child still here in Kigali.
Well,
I have one.
one daughter, her husband
Yeah,
has
to
come
your
back to work in the
place.
church. And so he's kind of here. Actually, they have their American citizenship, so
Mhm.
he's kind of here as a missionary.
Wow.
The son-in-law and the daughter. Yeah. So, family, all the family. Yeah. Well, we really appreciate. I don't
Oh, yes.
want to stop early if you have any more questions. But
How did the religious institutions in Kigali, the churches, how did they go about rebuilding after the end of the genocide in '94?
Well, it depends what church you are talking about. But as I said, in general, the genocide awakened the people to believe in God and practice religion than before. Another thing is that I hope that you will understand me. I don't know your denominations, but the fact is, up to genocide, the country was dominated by Catholics. After genocide, to this end, all churches are given equal respect. But before, the Catholics and the government were almost the same thing. So that's another difference.
some people have said that as an institution, the Muslim Islamic Church had a better reputation during the genocide than other churches. Other people say no, that's not true. It's all just individual stories here, individual stories, whether it doesn't matter your religion. Did you notice anything like that?
I do not know. I hear that kind of report,
Yeah.
but to be sure about it, I don't know.
Do you think that we were down at Nyamata Church yesterday, and I was telling to them that for people who are planning the genocide, they have to look what are going to be the problems that we're going to face in committing genocide. And one of the problems was the presence of foreigners. So they made a plan how they could get rid of the foreigners. Another problem was so many married each other that it would be hard to, you didn't just have, if you had people speaking two different languages and being very different, then you might be able to put them against each other. But when you have people speaking the same language, marrying each other all the time, you have bonds, ties, connections between these people. So that was a challenge that they had to work to try to break those connections. The other thing that I was wishing could have been the case, but I don't believe was the case, but I'd like to know your thoughts, is it would be wonderful to me if the planners of the genocide said, now, what are we going to do about the churches? The churches are going to really give us a trouble in trying to commit this genocide. Just like, they said the foreigners can be a problem, so we got to get rid of the foreigners. The relationships between, marriage and everything, we got to somehow create fear. We've got to get greed. Greed will help us break some of those connections. We'll find different ways. But the church, to me, it didn't seem like the church presented any challenge or obstacle to the planners of the genocide in carrying out their genocide. The church formal structure.
All of those ideas are speculation after the incident. But what we saw was the political parties that came just before genocide. And it created the differences. Then
it went from a one-party state, World Bank and everyone else, you guys know that part of the story.
yes.
The international community said we can't keep giving funding and support to a one-party state. Rwanda, you want to continue to be a partner, you've got to have multi-parties.
Yeah.
So just before the genocide,
Right.
many different political parties came into existence. And he's saying that these political parties caused friction and division among the
Yes,
people.
Yes, that's one of the probably triggered the genocide.
One of the biggest contributors.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't think that those who are in power, CDR and the others, like the plan to kill 10 Belgian peacekeepers was not a strategic move to encourage the other foreigners to leave?
I cannot tell. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because like what you are saying, planning and try to sort it out this way, I don't think that was in the plans. That means when they allowed a group of RPF to come in the country, they hoped to get understanding each other, but then they did not. They didn't accommodate a peaceful accommodation. That's what caused much of the problems. Then, because that even what brings a suspicion, who killed the president, because there were some of his group who didn't agree with him to accommodate the people to return in the country.
Mm-hmm.
So nobody knows. It is just something that is still
Speculated on.
In speculation without knowing. But I don't think they do not know who did it. So when the plane was shot, what they did, they never knew that it will go that far. They thought they are going to control the country in a short time. RPF thought so, and the other group thought so, but it went beyond their expectation. So I don't know if there was such kind of a plan.
Strategy and plans before.